Coach, what does the loss of Chamway Chachua do to Baylor? How does that change them up?
Well, he's such a great force inside and a great rim protector. So it's going to hurt him some their interior defense and with his rebounding. But at the same time, it's a strength weakness still. He doesn't score well from the outside, and so if they go small ball and play Meyer at the 5 or and they've got some bigs that can shoot outside. It really strengthens their offense in a lot of ways. So we'll have to make that adjustment as we go. But certainly feel bad for him. He's a really good player and hurt for the Baylor program. These injuries that happen, especially season ending, are really hard for the team and the player to absorb. And our prayers go out to him. But a great player, a lot of respect for him.
And along those lines, but closer to home, McCullough, what's he looking like?
Well, it's going to be game time. We can make that determination whether we'll play him or not. And he's doing rehab and working as hard as he can. So it's kind of a flip of the coin right now where he'll be able to play.
Mark, that first time, obviously, a lot of different faces that'll happen this time when you all play on Wednesday. I guess for you, what's the biggest factor that you're kind of telling your team to kind of say, this is what we did well that first time, let's try and continue this going into this one?
Well, Baylor's got a very, very aggressive offense, and they attack from three and put it on the floor, and you have to be ready for that. And we were a little shell-shocked because they just attack so quickly and fast, and they have great transition and guys that can finish. So it's important our guys understand that we've all got to, it's all 5 guys have to be ready to stay in tune with each other, help each other out, and know where those three-point shooters are. And at the same time, it's just a really fast game when you play with them. So you better have your knees bent and alert and a lot of communications. They're very, very difficult to guard.
Had a lot of signature wins so far this year. Did you feel like that was the one where maybe the team kind of said, okay, the road isn't as difficult as we once thought? It's still difficult, but now we can kind of believe that we can win these type of games.
Yeah, no question. It helped our confidence, and it was a big, big win. It's not many teams go in and beat Baylor on the home court, and we were the first one to do that in several years. Of course, Oklahoma State followed us right after that, but they're very tough at home, and they've proven to be a top 10 team, and just to have tremendous coaches and a program tradition, defending national champs. So, it's a lot of respect with those guys. But us being able to beat them it did give us some confidence, and especially I think as much as anything is in our offense. They're a very good defensive team too, and we saw we could score against them if we did, stuck to our game plan. So that helped us a lot as well.
Last one for me. In terms of the game plan, how much does it help just to kind of have Bryson Williams? I know he had that one kind of blip during conference, but just to be able to give him the ball inside and just know that you're going to get that score that you need, whether it's a set play or just kind of finding him on a baseline out of bounds play or something like that.
Well, having a guy like Bryson that's actually scoring inside and out, he's a threat all over the floor, so he's hard to guard. You just can't sag off of him. And then we also have seen him about time conference started when he really kicked into gear, and he's been a huge force on the offensive side for us. And again, he is a guy that we don't score 2 or 3 times down the floor. We can run a set or play for him and get him the ball.
What have you seen out of Akinjo, and what does he do well for Baylor?
Well, he's just a great point guard, and he is so good at getting downhill. And then, he can score – 3-point, and then mid-range, he's got a little floater there and a pull-up, and then he can finish, and just so crafty. And, the challenge with him is that once he gets going downhill, if you help off, he's always finding those guys to dump off to get layups and dunks. So, he's been a threat for everybody in the conference, and we'll certainly do all we can to try to slow him down.
And then what's the message to Kevin O'Banner right now after a couple of rough nights shooting for him?
Just keep shooting. That's what shooters do, and just tell him we believe in him. He's a great shooter. He's had a couple rough games, and another thing, just he can score in other ways. He can score posting up, offensive rebounds, and he needs to also look at when he's in those shooting slumps and to get fouled a little bit more and get to the free throw line. But he'll start making them. We've got some more sets we'll be running for him and try to get him more shots.
He's listed as a game time decision for tomorrow, but how much do you have to change your defensive game plan based upon the availability of L.J. Cryer and his three-point shooting ability?
Yeah, I mean, he hurt us certainly in Waco, and their best three-point shooter on paper. He's just tremendous, and again, just another weapon. You've got Meyer that can shoot threes, and Flagler, and Akinjo, and you know, then you stick him out there too, and it's just so they can spread the floor. It's so difficult to guard those guys, and they get quick. They have quick releases, and they have the green light to shoot when they want to, so they shoot with a lot of confidence, and it's tough for any team to beat them when they're all hitting on the same cylinder, making those threes. Very, very tough to beat, and you know, we were able to do that at their place. They were hitting some threes early and right after another, and we were able to keep our composure. Another thing that we learned in that game, just stay in the game and stick to our process and keep playing defense. And but I thought they were pretty good all through that game, and we were able to weather that three-point shooting exhibition they put on, and then we're able to make some big plays. But we played really well offensively. Looking at that game tape, we made a lot of big plays and pressure plays. Adonis had a great game and made some key plays at the basket. So we're going to need some of that type of performance out of our guys if we have a chance to beat Baylor.
Talking about the leadership that you have from this team, talk about how Terrence has, after slow start, injury, coming back, and you know, a slam dunk really brought not only the USA alive, but his own teammates alive. Talk about how, is Terrence at 100% now, or is he getting closer to where you think he needs to be for the end of the year?
Yeah, I think he's getting closer mentally and emotionally. You know, just he's under that's a lot of stress to go on with his reputation and just try to take over. But we've seen him do it time and time again, and he had a great performance the other night. And you know, he steps on the floor 6'7" and can put it on the floor and shoot threes. So certainly makes an impact when he's on the floor. And yeah, when he gets out there, he shows leadership, not only just vocally, but I think our guys have a lot of confidence when they're playing with him. And he's, you know, been passing the ball well. So he's a, you know, player that can do a lot of things to help our offense, not only just with assists and shooting threes, but also finishing. So certainly gives us more weapons going into this game against Baylor. And we'll need them because we'll have to try to match their scoring as well.
Talk about the importance of another full packed house coming up on Wednesday. And
yeah, I feel so much better having it than not having it. I mean, if we didn't have that packed house and sell out and all those students there, it'd be a little more difficult taking on Baylor. But it gives us a little bit of confidence. We have 15,000 fans behind us and cheering us on and keeping us in the game. And it's been a huge factor in a lot of these wins here at home. And we're just hoping we can keep our win streak going and expect our fans to be really loud and rowdy.
There was some talk about the depth of – Jamie Dixon talked about the depth of the TCU bench and the Texas Tech bench. How have you been able to depend on your bench and people coming off like Davion Warren, et cetera, to become a stronger team?
Yeah, we've been doing that all year. So that's just something that we talked about early in the season. We've got great depth and a lot of guys with experience that can step in and play. And so if someone gets in foul trouble or fatigue, then, you know, I have no hesitation of subbing in for them. And you know, guys like Marcus and Clarence coming off the bench, they have a great energy and you know, just their enthusiasm lifts our team up. And I told them that again yesterday, that they're so important to us, guys like that come into the game and raise the intensity level immediately.
Going off that question, I think you had 5 guys score in double figures last time you were able to beat Baylor. Is that something you preach to each of the guys, even the bench guys, that everybody's a scorer, or what are you saying?
You know, we just talk a lot about just sharing the ball, making the easy plays, don't force things, let the ball come to you. You know, we talk a lot about the ball has eyes and it knows where to go. Just, you know, let the ball come to you. And if you have the shot, take it. But at the same time, we don't want our guys overpassing. There's been times we've had open looks and threes and we didn't take them. So against Baylor, you better take the first open look you get and take advantage of it, because they're just relentless on defense and, you know, they get a lot of steals. So we want to make sure we take care of the ball and and shot selections is very important to us. At the same time, we want to make sure, we like to move their defense a little bit because they're so effective the first 5 or 10 seconds. But it'll be a challenge. I watched so much of their film, and their defense, like ours, a lot of times just dictates what the offense is doing, and we certainly hope it doesn't do that on Wednesday. And we've got to make sure that we have some type of ball movement and try to get it inside out if we can.
You mentioned their three-point shooting as well as their defense. What in your opinion is Baylor's biggest weapon that y'all prepare for?
Yeah, well, I mean, defensively, they're one of the best in the country defense. We all know that. But I think offense would have to be their quickness, their pace, and their ability to shoot threes. And then again, they're very, very good in transition.
Coach, going back to TJ, is he just kind of chomping at the bit to get into a big game atmosphere like this?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, he's shown, played Tennessee. He just put on a great performance there. Had a really good game against TCU. He was very good against West Virginia here, and he seems to step up in these big games. And we'll need our whole team to play well if we're going to have a chance to compete against Baylor. I'm sure they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. Us fortunate enough to beat them at their place. They're a very competitive team, and coming in here, they've got a lot of I guess things they could use as far as motivation. I mean, we're undefeated here at home, and they're in second, trying to get in first, and just like us, we're trying to move up to second, and they're ranked ahead of us. So we got it's back and forth here, but they've got a lot of ammunition that they're loading up against us, and they'll be. I think we'll expect their best game, and they'll be ready to play with or without if Cryer's playing.
Even though they're not the number one team in the country anymore, is there anything that you feel that they've been able to improve
No, I think
on?
in my opinion, they're still the number one team in the country. I think they're really, really good. I mean, I think Kansas is good too, and of course I'm partial to the Big 12, but I think Baylor is as good as anybody for sure.